So I got through Starfield. I did the mostly following main story to get to New Game Plus, and because everyone's like, you gotta do it. That's the way to do it. Really bad advice. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Really dumb advice.
Bad advice! You motherfuckers gave me bad advice!
Play that game, whatever way makes you feel best. Take your time, enjoy it.
If you can.
Maybe don't do 100% before you go to New Game Plus, but that's about it. There's no reason to rush. But then in some ways, there's no reason to do any of it. I got to New Game Plus. You can actually successively go to more New Game Pluses, and there's story reason or there's progression reasons to do that. And I started finding some fun in my when I was like settled. I'm like, I'm not going to go to New Game Plus anymore. I'm going to stay for a little bit, and then eventually was like, I can't find fun missions. Every place I go to is just giving me like, go. You got to pick this guy up from Medbay. He can't walk so good. And then you go pick the guy up from Medbay. He's like, all right, I'll follow you. And he just walks with you back to his house. You're like, this game does not care about details in any
No.
like in any capacity.
Yes, Starfield to me is the quintessential quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Which is Bethesda in a nutshell, but I felt like past Bethesda games have had a few really memorable stuff. Like, I think a really common example is like the Thieves Guild in Skyrim being an amazing quest line.
I liked all of the guilds in Skyrim.
Yeah, the main story in Skyrim was boring and paint by numbers. The side stuff was really interesting.
Right.
Fallout 3 and 4 I felt were basically the same. Boring-ish main stories, although Fallout 3 was a little bit better. More interesting side stuff.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Fallout versus Starfield is pacing-wise, it's so much better because you don't have you're not there's no downtime between walking around and exploring and shooting dudes and collecting loot. In Starfield, like the most fun I have is when I get to a base and I'm finally doing some exploring and a lock picking and exploring and beating people in a base and collecting their loot. But the time between that is so fucking insane and mind numbing that like I stopped having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my immersion, I still haven't played since our last podcast.
Yeah.
Because my immersion on this not being a game where I have a spaceship was broken. Because it's not a game where you have a spaceship.
No.
You have a thing that you load into that you then see take off, and then you play the little mini game, and then you just do a couple more loading screens and you're on the ground. And like it just broke my immersion way too much.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wanted to play a space game. I didn't want to play whatever this is.
Right. I saw someone talk about this on another podcast that it was a really good point of like they wanted their travel time because then they would have a reason to be on the ship. Engaging with while they're traveling, engage with their companions, do some crafting, do some research projects.
Oh yeah.
Have a reason to do anything on your ship.
Yeah, like if it was a loading screen to get into a system and then you had to fly, you could set a course for this other thing and then it was like, cool, it's going to take you 5 minutes to travel in real time to get to that other planet. It'd be like, awesome, go. I'll go see what I can craft. I'll go see what I can see. Like that would feel so much more immersive.
Totally.
But
versus hitting L, highlighting your quest, hitting R, and then hitting X so that you immediately travel from ground to ground in a whole nother planet across the solar system or across the galaxy.
Right, because after a while, you're tired of all the load cutscenes, so why wouldn't you just travel from planet to planet?
Right.
Because that makes so much more sense. And then, what are we even doing? This isn't a space game.
What are we even doing? Yeah, and I was looking so hard for the fun quest. I know they're in there. There are some fun quests in there.
I found a few.
But like, I got tired of looking. I went to so many planets and got so many bullshit quests. You like, oh my fucking god, bro. Like I was like, okay, there's a planet, here's a research station. I got off my ship, it's 800 meters away. Okay, I'll walk to the research station. I get there, they're like, oh hey, like before I even get to the building, like, hey man, the Crimson Fleet's giving us some problems. Will you deal with them? Like, okay. And they're like, it's over there though. Then you got to get back in your ship, and then you fly to the Crimson Fleet. You walk 500 meters to the Crimson Fleet, kill them. You go back through the loading screens to get to the outpost, and then you got to walk back another 800 meters. And they go, dude, thank you so much. Here's 3,000 credits. I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Um,
So much of that game is piddly little time wasting bullshit like that to make the game feel like it has more to do than it actually has.
yeah, and I am sad to say this is definitely my least played Bethesda game in
Yep.
terms of hours.
I did not enjoy Fallout 4, but I finished it,
I finished it.
and I
finished
liked
this, but
I liked a few things. I mean, this is the first Bethesda game I've not finished. And I mean, shit, I feel like I got like a quarter of the way through the game. The only thing I liked was Neon.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything more about Neon in case anybody out there is trying to avoid spoilers and hasn't gotten there. But even Neon was fine. And all it really made me want is to look forward to the new and revamped and plus DLC of Cyberpunk 2077.
so the update comes out tomorrow. The 2.0 update comes out tomorrow.
Okay, I actually wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this because I liked the game so,
Mhm.
but there was a lot of things that I found kind of annoying about it when I first played it, and I never finished it.
Yeah.
That from what the little I've read about the update addresses and fixes basically all of the things I did not like about it.
Yeah. So go on.
So the DLC doesn't come out until the 26th.
Mhm.
Should I, and I haven't read anything else about, because I don't want spoilers because I haven't even beaten the main game. Should I wait until then to start playing? Or should I start playing and I will probably make it to the DLC? Like when is the DLC? Is it part of the way through the game?
Well, you're gonna want to start a new save regardless of starting it tomorrow or starting it in a week.
Oh yeah, I'm starting over from
Um,
scratch.
But I think that the DLC, I tried to look up a level or like an area of the game where it integrates, and I didn't find that. However, I'm going to start a new game tomorrow,
Okay.
and experience some of the 2.0 upgrades. The biggest things that I'm seeing are changes to the skill system, which make your will radically affect your play style. Changes to like how health works. It's no longer consumable. You just have 2 charges. Um, I think people focused a lot on the police part of it, but that was never the interesting part of it to me. And I think the game's still going to have some of the problems I had before, where when you look too close, it just doesn't. It's just not very alive. Like there's a lot of people walking around, but what does that really mean? I did actually install it. Like when I got bored of Starfield, I was like, Neon is making me want to play Starfield or Cyberpunk, so I'm going to play Cyberpunk. Loaded it up. I have a significant appreciation for how fluid the movement is in Cyberpunk and how just generally good the guns feel, and sound effects and just a lot of that stuff is in Cyberpunk versus Starfield.
I mean, beyond that, even the voice acting and facial expressions, which are so terrible in Starfield.
Oh, the faces in Cyberpunk. I've never had a game where I took so many pictures of just people's faces. It's like I cannot fucking believe. I posted some on my Instagram. I was like, this is so fucking impressive. Yeah, that game. It looks the best. I'm gonna show you the pictures that I took because it's so fucking impressive. But in my time playing, I still found like look how real that looks.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Look how good this game looks. I took this with my computer. Look at that.
Yeah. Man,
And this is-
graphical fidelity.
And this is before the new update is going to have really updates for 40 series card people, which neither of us are, so
Mm.
doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Me too.
I don't think it's going to change enough about the main game to make me be like, this is a great game. But like, for example, when I was walking around the city, I ran into a bunch of locked doors. I'm like, oh, I got to get my lock picking skill up. And then I remembered, oh, these doors that say locked just mean you can't go in them. Period.
Yeah.
It's not like a you can explore this thing. So there's still going to be a lot of that where, like, yes, obviously you can't make a city like Night City and make everything explorable.
Right.
It's just not feasible, but doesn't make that take you out of it any less.
No, and to draw another negative comparison with Starfield, at least the doors that you can go through will have interesting things behind them and not fucking nothing like what's behind a lot of shit in Starfield.
Yeah.
Just shelves of bullshit that you don't want to pick up.
Yeah. I like the lockpicking mechanic in Starfield, though, more than I like it in Cyberpunk.
It's okay. I mean, it was a fun mini game for a little while, and then it was just kind of like a chore. I felt like, but I don't know. Maybe that was just me.
I liked it.
It was a cool little like puzzle game.
Yeah.
Not that it was
Better,
much of a puzzle.
better than the average.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Lockpicking game, but
I'm just here really to be negative about Starfield because I hated it so much.
I when I said 7 or 6, I think I'm still there. There's part of me was like, this feels like a 7, and then part of me was like, this feels like a 6. So
Yeah.
And then the Cyberpunk DLC, I don't really know, other than adding like a new district and a storyline for that DLC, and presumably weapons and gear. I don't really know what else is adding. There's one thing that really bothers me in the game that is still not in it, even with 2.0, and that is like, I'm not going to get to be the big metal cyber guy with giant arms that are made of metal, and I can't be a maelstrom guy with half of my head turned into metal and red eyes. That's just not. Even though they changed the cyber gear system to be more fun to engage with, that's still not, the aesthetics are not part of it. Which, it's a first person game, I understand,
Yeah.
but I still want to be Adam Smasher.
Yeah. I thought that was part of the update, so maybe I was misinformed because I thought that update to make the cyber gear more more engaging was going to be reflected on your character, but is that not true?
I mean, it might be reflected to some extent, but I tried to find more information on that specific point, and from Reddit comments, a lot of them are saying like, I wish we could have more, like it be like we were Maelstrom guys or we had big metal arms or whatever. So it doesn't sound like those are going to be like changed in the game, but maybe in the DLC it's different. Like 2.0 and the DLC are distinct, so
Okay.
I'm curious to know. But yeah, I mean they're at least making changes to the cyber wire system to make it more fun.
It seems cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, they're also adding car combat in 2.0.
That sounds cool.
Like
That was my favorite part of the game when I played but never finished it. Was just driving around. It was awesome.
Really? Yeah. I like some of the cars. I thought one of my big complaints was that there was no GPS like on screen display
Yeah.
of where to drive, and that city is so complex that like going into like pausing and going to your map 100 times is so fucking frustrating. Or just driving on your mini map, it's like,
Yeah.
this is annoying, but
It just like the city just looks so good.
dude,
Like everything looks
it's
so
real
good.
fun
like
to go fast.
Yeah, like just driving all over it. I was like, this is just cool to drive around.
Has some really wet roads.
Yeah.
I ran into another issue last night that I forgot about in that game. There's just no flashlight or night vision or any way to like mitigate darkness.
That seems really weird.
It's so fucking weird. Like
For a cyberpunk game, like
I'm in the middle of this dark ass warehouse, and like these corners of the room are just completely black. And I'm playing it on my TV now, so like it's black. You cannot see a thing. And I'm like, how do I turn this up? Like you have to turn up your entire gamma. So the whole game's gonna look washed out, so I can see the dark now. So whatever. But I'm excited to play the DLC. I'm excited to play tomorrow when the update launches.
Maybe the update has flashlights.
They didn't specify in the patch notes,
Maybe.
but we'll see. Yeah. What about you, man? What have you been playing?
Well, this is an old well, but I've been playing more Path of Exile.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I play that game multiple times a year, and this league has been really cool. It is like the league mechanic is like an auto battler sort of thing, but you also get to play as it with your character.
Nice.
And it's interesting and engaging, but like with always, Path of Exile players will find a way to break the shit. So I finally built the thing that breaks this game mode, and it's a character that has 1 HP. So if anything hits you, you die. But you have all of these defenses, so you almost never get hit by anything. And you just use these skills that suck all of the enemies into one like thing constantly, or just knock them away from you, and then use that to like win the little auto battler mechanic, and it's really fun.
Damn.
But yeah, no, it's been a good league. It's been really interesting. I ended up getting another friend of mine who was very disappointed in Diablo, and I was like, "Hey, man, I leveled with him at the beginning of the league, and I was like, we're just gonna power through this in one day. Like Friday, we're gonna start, and we'll get to mapping by the end of Friday." And he was like, "Okay," and we did it, and now he's like sucked in, like, super sucked in.
Yeah. I remember last league, I was like, I'm going to play the next league. I didn't even know it came out until you're like, I'm playing the new league. I'm like, I'm fucking busy, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. That sounds like an interesting mechanic.
It's fun. Yeah. And yeah, it feels, I don't know, sometimes I feel like lame for how much I go back to Path of Exile. But something about that game. That just like is a game that like does it for my brain.
Such a well-made game.
Like it's so good.
Yeah.
And it looks like Diablo is pretty shit.
Yeah, I cannot believe I started the first season for like 45 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to play this.
Yeah.
There's too many games for me to play.
There is a lot.
Games that are not immediately like grabbing me.
I mean, that's how I feel. Like that's why I didn't finish Starfield. It's like I could be playing, so I could be having fun, and I'm not having fun, so I'm done.
Yeah, and I was playing. I mean, I kind of felt that way, but I was like, I know there's something here that I like. I did find some of it, but yeah, once I got to the point where I couldn't find fun quests, I'm done.
Yeah.
I did load up Lies of P. That came out recently. It's on Game Pass. If you wanted a cheap way to play it, it is a very good. A very well-made Souls-like. I'm not very far in it to say if it's good or not, but if you like, it has. I don't want to say a Bloodborne aesthetic because it's very like, all the enemies are puppets pretty much, like puppets and mechanical mechanical puppets and mechanical dogs, and that's kind of the one thing I don't like about it. But I think that if you like that sort of game, there's probably some cool shit there.
Okay, cool.
That's all I have really about that game.
Cool. Well, I guess really quickly we should talk about the Unity stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because holy fuck. What were they thinking?
I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, this was insane.
Yeah.
So, for anybody who doesn't know, Unity recently announced changes to their pricing structure, where they are going to charge developers and distributors based on number of downloads.
No. Number of installs.
Installs. Yeah, thank you.
Past a certain revenue threshold, you would be charged up to 20 cents per installation. This does not mean per download. This means if I take your game and I install it and uninstall it 100 times, you just got charged $1. Or sorry, $10, right? Is that the math?
I don't know how to do that.
Sorry, $20.
You should never ask me to do that.
I really, it's a little late for me on the math. $20. So I could cost you $20 if I have the time of day. That's one person, and that's, and this is just this was a terms of service update that they made, retroactive to all games currently made on their platform.
Yep.
So every developer that has a game that uses Unity would be subject to these rules, and that was just kind of that. The sweeping grand change versus that basically told developers we own a bigger cut than we said we did initially, and you're going to pay it.
And boy, did that backfire on them.
Yeah, they're
First of all, I don't understand how they could ever force distributors like Microsoft to pay those, because that's what they said. They said bigger distributors like Microsoft or Sony would be responsible for those fees. What? Yeah, that's not how it works. That's not how legal agreements work. But the developer community just revolted against Unity, and
I mean,
it looks like it's blowing up in their face.
games like Cult of the Lamb came out and straight up said, "Hey, we're going to remove this from sale,
Right.
starting this date.
Yep.
We can't support this product because Unity has basically given a big fuck you to the whole community, and we're gonna take this game off for sale. Maybe we'll port it to another engine, but coming soon, game's gonna be gone."
Crazy.
Terraria came out. They don't even use it Unity, other than for a few specific things that they mentioned. But they basically said, "Fuck you, you're dumb," and then they donated $100,000 to Godot and another. Open. I think Godot's open source. I don't know if the other engine was open source or not, but basically they're supporting smaller engines that maybe are not subject to that kind of bullshittery.
I love, dude. Relogic is so awesome.
They're so
I
good.
love that developer.
Yeah.
Terraria is such a good game. So a bright spot of all of this shit, for me at least, was the fact that the Megacrit, the developers of Slay the Spire, came out.
Yeah.
And they put out a statement saying that, hey, we were making a game. I'm paraphrasing, but they said we're making a game in Unity. We are immediately and irrevocably porting our game to another engine unless Unity immediately reverses their changes. And they ended the statement with, and we have never ever made a public statement. So this should tell you how serious this is, how bad Unity fucked up.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. But I also didn't know they were making another game,
It's great.
and I'm so excited.
I know. Slay the Spire is so fucking good, dude.
They're so awesome. I cannot wait. Like, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, a bunch. There's a bunch more of those that came out, and just
Yeah.
being like, "We're leaving the engine. We're stopping to support this game because of this." And then Unity came back and was like, "We hear you. We will take back it. No more. Sorry, just kidding." And they've ruined.
But did they?
Yeah.
They said they're not doing any of that.
Well, now you're making me question it.
So I read their first statement.
Did you read the "We hear you" statement?
In one of their statements, they said, in situations where there's like an abusive levels of installs, like, don't worry, we'll work with you on that. Basically, trust me, bro.
I think this is okay. This is from 3 days ago. "We heard you. We apologize for the confusion and angst the runtime fee we announced on Tuesday has caused. We are listening, talking to our team members, community, customers, and partners, and we're making changes to the policy." I think that is the entire statement. "We will share an update with you in a couple days. Thanks for your honest and critical feedback." So that implies that they're going back and changing that. But dude, they purged their social medias. Wait, no. I'm really confused at what's going on here. Sorry, like the top 3 tweets are from 2021, and then never mind. Okay. But I mean, regardless of if they change it or not, any indie developer, specifically indie developers, are going to at least strongly reconsider their choice to use that engine, and they're not going to be gaining any new traction amongst indie developers. I think they're like, one of their draws was like how favorable it was to be it was an easy software to work with, or an
Mhm.
engine to work with. There was low licensing fees, and yeah, and
Yeah, they just completely destroyed the trust in their brand overnight.
overnight, all
It
it took
was
was one
crazy.
statement, one TOS change, and there's nothing they could do to fix it. Even if they put in like policies to prevent that sort of change, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. Why would you invest years of your life, or years of development time into a game on an engine that you can't trust?
Right.
Dumb,
Very dumb.
but go learn Godot. It's real fun.
Yeah.
I had fun with it when I used it.
Yeah, I know
I'm-
you were working in it.
I think I want to use Unreal though, just to fuck around with it. I think Unreal is like needlessly complicated for a hobbyist, but
Yeah.
no, it still seems fun.
I know nothing about how to program or code, so
I forgot it all.
I bet you would remember it if you started doing it though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just learned GD script, which is the Godot scripting language.
I just keep hoping that I'll be able to use AI to make scripts. I know that is like a sensitive subject, but I can't learn scripting. I'm too dumb,
Yeah.
or I don't have that part of my brain doesn't work.
No,
So it
you
does.
better get Neuralink from Elon Musk,
Maybe that.
dude.
Nothing bad could happen from that.
Yeah, it seemed fun. Seemed like a good idea.
All
All right.
Yep. It's late.
It's late.
It's late. You got to go to bed.
Yeah, just about.
I got to be up for many more hours.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.